One of the first things I look at when I'm trying to help out a company is what they've got going on with their content. And I can tell you that almost no organization is like really crushing content. There's a few out there and we probably know them, they're household names, but it's rare to find an org that really crushes content. They might do a great job of creating content, though more often than not, that's not the case. It tends to be really sporadic and feels without strategy. But if they do a great job of creating content, they oftentimes don't do a good job of using that content for lead gen, or they can't attribute that content to revenue, perhaps because it doesn't, or perhaps because they have bad tracking. They have trouble gathering meaningful insights from that content to inform things like product. On the other side, the more common one, they're doing a bad job of creating the content and then everything flows negatively from there. And organizations that aren't crushing content miss a huge opportunity. They're missing opportunities to get insights from their audience. They're missing a huge opportunity to generate more leads. They're missing a huge opportunity to build affinity and awareness of their brand. They're missing opportunities for revenue. It's just massive to business these days. And so, why aren't more companies doing it really well? And when I say doing it really well, I'm going to explain exactly the strategy that I roll out. And I don't think it's too hard. I think most orgs can roll this out. So the first thing I would say is make at least three new pieces of content a week. And each of those pieces of content needs to be mapped to a specific persona or ICP. If it's not for your audience, why make it, right? So figure that out, make the content. This should be written content. It benefits SEO. And it's still the way most people consume content throughout the day. From that written content, you should create other media. By that I mean like audio, like make a short pod about the same topic. It should not be the exact same content. That's the equivalent to reading off a PowerPoint slide. It's not engaging. It should be different words, but about the same topic and making the same points. And ideally, you can do the same with video. Video is a little bit trickier on the tech side. Like, is there an AI that's making great video from a blog post? I've seen some stuff that does pretty good. If you have a really good tool, let me know. I'd love to explore because I think that's something that I could personally be doing better. So I'd love to see more about that. So now that you've created this meaningful content, make sure you're making it very, very easy for someone to give you their contact information to get more like content or learn more about what you're offering. There are so many people that write these great, or companies and people that write these great blog posts. And when I'm done with it, I'm like, how do I would like to sign up for a newsletter or learn more. And sometimes I can't even find that without a few clicks, which is crazy. So make sure you've got really good lead magnets. Make sure you've got CTAs. Make sure that when people are most excited about what you're talking about, it's really easy for them to give you their information so you can offer them more things like that. Oftentimes you're selling something like that, right? So they're happy to start hearing about that. So make sure you have really good lead magnets, CTAs, and ways to get leads from that content. It's another area that I see fail way too much. So now that you have that all set up, you're in good shape. You got to distribute the content appropriately. You want to get as many appropriate eyeballs on your content as possible. Every piece of content you create should be promoted on social media. There's no point to not do this. Otherwise, you're just writing stuff, making stuff, and it's just sitting almost in a silo. So post everything on social and do it in the places where you know your customers likely are. If it's just LinkedIn, great. If it's every social media, great. If it's something really niche that I haven't heard of before, ideal. That's awesome. That's even better. But when you do this stuff, make sure that you're posting. Make sure that you get your C-suite or other leaders of the company to share those posts. For some reason in house, it's always really difficult to get them to spend 30 seconds just to write a quick note and reshare that post. There's tech that can help with that now. So there's really small barrier to make that happen. They need to be sharing these posts. It's vital to the success of the business. These people also, C-suite, need to be making their own content. They need to be writing one thing a week. The other people that should be writing one thing a week are any of the individual contributors or non C-suite leaders in departments or doing work related to what your customer cares about, which is a lot of people in a company. The really obvious answer would be like if you have an engineer who's focused heavily on data and you sell a data oriented product, they should be writing about data once a week and they should be sharing that stuff on social. Your C suite should be writing about whatever they're connected to in the business once a week and they should be sharing that on social. And then all of you should be sharing all of each other's things. And that creates this really wide net of all of your respective audience. Especially if you have like a CEO or founder that has a lot of followers, they should be driving a lot of traffic to your site. So they should be sharing something, writing something once a week that you're sharing. They should be sharing all of your stuff. That's getting a lot of awareness, and then other people, key people in your org, same thing. You get the idea. It builds this wide net that starts getting tighter and tighter and tighter. There's also a really clever ABM play that you can do to help out sales and account management while creating more content and increasing distribution. This strategy is where an account manager, salesperson, marketer, doesn't really matter, whoever has the best relationship, reaches out to a target account and asks them to contribute to an article in which they have expertise. It can be a 1 or 2 minute audio recording. This doesn't have to be a big deal for them. When they send that back to you, you get it into the asset that has not yet been published. When you publish it, you share it back with them. You share it on social. You tag them in it. You likely tag their organization in it. They're likely to share the piece and comment on it. The organization is likely to share the piece separately and comment on it. So you're getting this big, wide net now of people that might not have seen or been aware of your business before. And then also gives sales and account management an excuse for outreach. First, they get to reach out to this account who's maybe even gone cold, asking for something that is exciting. I get to be an expert contributor in something. This isn't a sales call. Then they get to follow up as a second touch point when the piece is published. Be like, hey, here it is, check it out. Or maybe it's even like a day before it gets published to give them a little bit of a feeling of being an insider. Then you put in a newsletter that likely they're getting. Maybe sales or account management now has an excuse to reach out and go, hey, the expert opinion you provided is really, really interesting. Did you know we have this product that actually speaks directly to the challenge you've indicated? You've now reopened a conversation that might have gone cold or lukewarm. It's a great strategy to get broader reach from content and open up conversations, which is a big part of what marketing's focus should be with logos that or contacts that maybe have gone cold or just need a touch point. So that's how you distribute content really, really meaningfully and create content that's excellent. Now, we have all this content published. What sort of insights are we gathering? So we need to make sure we're tracking what people are doing with this content, right? How far down the page are they going? How much time are they spending on the content? Any other indicators of the preference for specific content? I think maybe most importantly is how many leads are getting generated from each specific asset. And I would say even more so qualified leads are getting generated from that specific asset. I like to look at that every single month to provide a few pieces of strategy. The first thing is, hey, if this is really engaging stuff and it's generating a lot of leads, we should be creating a lot more things like this. Let's hop over onto social. What piece of content is generating the most interest? What's getting the most views, likes, shares, comments? What's driving the most traffic to the website? Not only should you use that to help you format additional social posts in the future, but if that is different type of content than what people are enjoying on your website, then you know you've got some really good content for ads. You can either promote your most successful posts directly and just expand the reach of something that people have said they really, really like, or use it to inform some broader ad strategy because people are resonating with a specific topic. Even if they get to your site, they're not finding what they need. That can inform landing pages or site copy or where you're sending them. So those are two different things that you can do when you see level of engagement. I think the third thing that's really interesting that a lot of organizations miss, especially if your organization is one that uses product-led growth strategy, is it can inform future product. If you are currently focusing on building out a really robust CRM for local businesses, and you're trying to sell the CRM into local businesses, and it's going okay or it's going great, doesn't really matter, but you're finding that a ton of local businesses are actually engaging with content about recruiting employees for local businesses or hiring managers to help run local businesses. That could help your business understand, like, wait a minute, maybe there's an offer we could create here that pairs with our CRM that also helps with recruiting, or maybe helping recruit talent as a wedge into the CRM, something like that. There's all these product-led growth insights and other product insights you can gain by seeing what the audience you're targeting is engaging with. You need smart content to do all of these things. It informs, well, first of all, it creates more leads. Second of all, it creates more awareness. Third of all, it creates a huge opportunity to reach out to your target customers. And fourth of all, it creates deep product insights. And this is just from creating content, which a lot of it you can do and should not do solely with, but you can leverage AI to help you do it at scale. So there's smart ways to do this and get really good insights. If I was taking over any marketing at any company, this is exactly the approach I would use, and this is what I think you should do too.